Hello and welcome to MiniBytes, Schools ICT MiniBytes session 8, which is part of our series of 21 and 21. So we'll try and get through 21 different topics in roughly 21 minutes per topic. Ideally a little bit less than 21 minutes, so you've got time to make a cup of tea or something similar. But if not, then it'll be slightly more and you just have to rush through. Today's session is all about introduction to Microsoft Forms. So introduction to Microsoft Forms, and because it's a Microsoft product, we can do an Education Center code. So if you go to education.microsoft.com and sign in or register, you can use the code TGTC332621, and that will give you 300 credits towards Microsoft Innovative Educator qualification. Although you do have 2 hours of online training and 2,000 credits in total to get the MIE badge, you can then work on there. It's recognized CPD, so you may as well get the code there if you have it. So that's MiniBytes Session 8, Introduction to Microsoft Forms. So without further ado, let's have a look at Microsoft Forms. I'm going to skip into my web browser here, and just to remind you that Office 365 is a browser-based product, so to get to any Microsoft product, you start off by typing in office.com in your browser and clicking on that. Once you've logged in, you get to your home page. This is my home page in Office 365, and you'll find that I've got all the common programs like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so on down the side. If I carry on going down this side, I'll get to Forms. If it's not immediately apparent, I can scroll down and I'll see F in a square is Forms. If I can't see it on this drop-down menu here, the boxes at the bottom which say All Apps, if I click on that, I will see actually it brings up all the apps there in alphabetical order for Office 365, and Forms is on the second top row for me. If I click on Forms, it takes me there. So Forms is an online questionnaire or survey tool, and if I want to, I can make questionnaires and surveys which do or do not have scoring. The ones which do have scoring are called quizzes, but if I don't have scoring, I call it a form. So where you might want to use a form is when you're getting a parent or a pupil survey, and there's no right or wrong answers. Where you might want to have a quiz is where you want to give a result back or give some sort of feedback for right or incorrect answers. We're going to do the quiz tool because the form is the same as a quiz but without the scoring, whereas at least the quiz allows you to see all the demonstrations in 21 minutes. So let's give it a click and see what happens. New quiz. It defaults to new quiz now. It used to default to new forms. Before we get into the body of the quiz, we're going to be having a look at the top. At the very top left-hand side is my waffle, which allows me to go back to all my Microsoft products on the side, but I don't need that anymore. It says which tool I'm in, which is Forms, and as I come across the top, I've got the untitled quiz. If I look along here, I can see what the name is, and that will change as things go. If I change the name in this box here from Untitled Quiz to Artist Quiz, if you were with me yesterday, you'll notice I did an artist quiz for Google Forms as well yesterday. But you'll see that the title, when I change it in this box, it changes at the top and says saved. So I don't need to click any save buttons or no any keyboard shortcuts, it just saves after every change I make. I can add in a picture for my background here by clicking on the Insert Image button wherever it appears, and it will then bring up a Bing image search. I'm going to look for Da Vinci and see if I can get a picture for Da Vinci work. So this might be a close-up of the Mona Lisa, or it might be something else. If it doesn't come through very quickly because we're sharing things online. So let's have a look and see. Da Vinci is a bit difficult. Okay, I'm going to close that because I agree. Creative Commons licenses. It does check by default for everything you want to do, and it's using Bing image search to search the internet for things. If this isn't going to work, I'm just going to search for paint, because paint is far easier to find than Leonardo da Vinci. There we go. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to pick this messy paintbrush image and add it. So you'll see here I've got the artist quiz, and it shows me the preview of the image I'm going to be using. And this quiz is all about art. Okay, so that's just a description there. Along the top row, I've got a question mark here, which is your help button, and I've got my initials there, which is my login, logout button, and I've got this second row, which would have tabs in it. The preview, if I click on the preview, it shows me straight away. It just changed the tab to show me what the user will see. So you can see a picture, an artist quiz. This quiz is all about art. One thing you notice in the Microsoft tool is this tool here. It's called Immersive Reader. If I click on that anywhere the icon appears, it will read out and it will highlight the text to me like so. Okay, it allows me to zoom in on the text. And if I was sharing my audio, you'd be able to hear the voice going through. I'm going to turn off Immersive Reader for now because that's a tip for another day, really. And I'm going to go back here from my preview to see how it works. The theme button here has got a lightning strike on it. It's quite a good preview, but the inspiration comes from often the images around you. So I'm going to look for something arty, Colored pencil is always a good one. And you can see the background there changes straight away in the theme. Once the theme is selected, it will then stay consistent across the form. And I can hide that theme ideas button. I can change the colors if I want to as well. So I could have a theme of just pale blue, or I could use the icons. It's up to me what I want to do. I'm going to go back to the pencil, so I'm going to click on theme ideas and pick the colored pencils. The three dots just to the side of the share button here allow me to pick the settings. So if I click on settings, it brings up the options here. So showing results automatically is default for a quiz. And it says here that respondents will see their answers immediately, but you can turn that off if you have long answer questions. Who can fill in the form? You can restrict it to your school or your institution, or have anyone respond, or you can have specific people so you can get feedback from individuals, and you can ask for them to record their name and switch on or off one response per person. The final part for this is the options for responses. If this box is not ticked, the form is closed and you cannot get an answer. So that means that you cannot fill in the form. You can write an apologies there if you want to. Otherwise, tick accept responses. And then you can pick start dates and end dates. And this one here is quite nice. You shuffle the questions up so it changes the order of questions. You can customize the thank you message by ticking the box and saying thank you. Responses submitted. And we will see you in person soon. No, with an N, not an M. Okay, and then further down, I can allow receipt of responses after submission. So if I set an end date here, you can have late submissions. And if I want to, if I've got a small class, I can get email notifications each time a response comes through. So that's what the three dots do. Click on the three dots again to hide the settings menu. I've got print form, which allows me to do a printed questionnaire. It'll go through, I'm not going to do that now because it'll take a while to set up the printer. But if I go through the print options there, it will then show me what it looks like. And then the other options I've got there are feedback and terms. So feedback is where you can go to suggestions about your form if you want to have them. And terms just tell you about the legalese, about how forms work. When you click on share, share allows you to go through these options again, so anyone can respond, and you can copy it, or you can share a QR code to the form. So if you scan that, you can see my form. You can download the QR code and print it off in school and children's books, for example, for regular feedback. This one here is an embed code, which allows you to embed the form in a Sway or a web page. So it's quite good for school newsletters and getting feedback that way. And then email is literally sending an email via your Outlook with the link to the form inside. No, I don't want to save those changes. You can share forms as a template, so you can't copy and paste forms, but you can share a link to the duplicate. When somebody logs in with their own Microsoft account, they can then start editing that form as if it's their own, and getting a link to view and edit is so they can collaborate and give some responses back on the single document. So that's how that all works. If I click on share again, it gets rid of that menu. So how to make questions? Well, you can see here I've got two tabs, questions and responses. Responses shows me the answers, the time taken for people to complete them, the status of the form, and there's three dots there for more information if I want to share that information. When I get answers, I can open this in Excel and look at the spreadsheet of information. And I can also review the answers personally and post scores. Let's get back to the questions and put some questions in. Clicking on Add New brings me up the choice of question type straight away. These are the most common four, and I've got a drop down here with more question types. Let's start with an easy one, a date question. So what is today's date? Okay, so what's today's date? And I can put an image in there if I want to, but I'm not going to. And I get to choose day, month, year, and it's a drop-down calendar. So that's straightforward. I don't want it to give it points, so I'm going to leave it as 0 points. And I could make it required or not required by using the slider. So if I make that required, it means that people have got to fill in the date. There's more settings for each question. You can have subtitles, you can add branching. We'll not cover branching today. We will do that in a different session. And subtitles allow you to put in additional text and information here. So say day, month, yeah. So that means I can give a little prompt to people to make sure they fill this in. Adding new. Let's add a different sort of question. Choice, text, rating, and date. We've used date already. Let's pick choice, and we'll come back to rating later on. So choice is which artist do you prefer? Okay, and we're going to have a choice here. We're going to have, if you paste this in from an Excel spreadsheet, you can have it quite quickly. But I'm going to have Monk. I press enter and give it to option 2. I'm going to go for Van Gogh. Option 3 is going to be Banksy. And option 4 is going to be DaVinci. I can add another option, so I can add option here, and I can keep on going, but just by pressing enter it does the same thing. I can get rid of options by clicking on the bin. That one there display a message to respond to select the answer. So in this situation, I could click on that and add a response to each individual answer. And if I want to, I can tick the tick to make it a correct answer. So obviously, I'm going to say, which artist do you prefer? It's an opinion piece, but which artist is currently working? Becomes an actual fact question. So Banksy is the correct answer. I click on that. And I can make this answer here and give feedback for each individual thing. So Monk, so this is not correct. If I Control A and copy that, I can then paste it in. So Van Gogh can get a pasted codec as well. This can obviously be more constructive feedback. It's quite useful in maths questions when you have a working out problem in the working order of operations. You can type in the correct order of operations. So I've got that there. I'm going to give it 1 point if you get it correct. I'm not going to allow multiple answers, but if I did, I'll show you in a second what happens. So add new question. Again, it's going to be choice, and this one is going to be the same again, but I'm going to make it a variant. In order to avoid writing out the same question over and over again, I just click on this copy question button at the top of the question type, and it gives me the same question again, which I can then edit. So now I'm going to change the types from being to be multiple answers, and I'm going to get rid of my comments to my questions. Sorry, I just got rid of my Banksy answer actually. I'm going to get rid of the comments for any further answers. So the correct answer this time round is not going to be Banksy. It's going to be, sorry, is going to Van Gogh. I got rid of Monk by mistake, so Monk goes back in. And this one here is going to be about which two artists lived in the same time period, and the correct answers are Monk and Van Gogh. So which artists? Okay, so I'm going to say roughly the same time, just to give a little bit of leeway there. And again, you'll see the subtitles are there in place because I've copied the question, but I can get rid of the subtitle by unticking that. So there we go. Now, this here is a multiple answers. The previous one was just a single answer, but it's not going to give 2 points for, because actually if you get it right, you get multiple answers. I'm going to go on to this question 4 to start to type in. I'm going to make this a different type of question. So I'm just going to delete this one for now. To delete any questions, click on the bin icon there. So we've got 2 artist questions, and we're going to move on. This time I'm going to add new, and I'm going to add a new text box. Okay. This one's going to be a text answer. So describe most famous, the flowers. In fact, let's do it this way. Name flowers made famous. Van Gogh. Okay, and the correct answer is going to be, I can add an answer here and I can call it sunflowers. There we go. I can add different variants on it. So I can do sunflowers. That, and I can pick all my different variants that I want to do. So it'll be worth our answer. I'll allow the sunflowers as well. Okay, so I've got these answers here. If I wanted to make it more than just one word or one line, I can click on long answer and you get a bigger gap. And then you can move on from there. I'm going to add new. I've done choice, I've done text. I can do a star rating. I've done the date already. I can click on this drop down. If I click on this drop down, I get different question types. Ranking is quite interesting. So ranking allows you to slide the different option types between each other. So rank the artists in order of, this is going to be about date of birth. I don't know the full details, so this might be wrong, so I'm afraid. So this says set the options in the correct order. When I share the quiz, options will appear in a random order. So the correct order, this is going to be make sure I get the correct order. So from first to most recent. So the most recent one, sorry, the first one, I think it was Van Gogh. And then it was Munch. And then it was Banksy. Oh, actually, I've made a big mistake here. I've actually put in the wrong one. So I need to click on the 6 dots here and drag the answer in the right place. And put Da Vinci here because he was a long time before the rest. Da Vinci, Van Gogh, Munch, and Banksy. So again, I can give this one 4 points for getting the correct answer if I want to, and make it required. Adding new, I'm going to click on this drop down here. I like it allows you to give a grid. So it allows you to give a grid of answers. So what do you think of each artist? So I'm just going to put their names in here, but it could be any statement. Van Gogh, Banksy, Vinci, and Munch. And often it doesn't matter which way you put these in, you can make it shuffle as you go. And bad. Using tabs to go across sideways. Okay. Good. Great. Awesome. You can pick anything you want to for those. And now add new. If I go down, I've got this other thing called a section. I'm going to go up a bit. And these are all about the artists to date. But I'm going to add a new section. I'm going to just do a maths section just to show a tool. So section here, maths time. Okay, so I'm going to add a new question here. It's going to be a choice. I'm going to type in solve for x. It's going to be x plus 3 equals 7. So this is to show a point here. As I click on here, I've got the 3 dots and I've got maths as an option. This is lovely in Microsoft Forms. If I click on maths, it can then bring through the question. And I can use the maths tool here. So enter an equation. So x plus 3 equals 7. So I've done that equation there. So now it gives me different options. So I've got these suggested results. I can just click on add all straight away and it puts them in place. It gives me the correct answer. It saves me a lot of faff. Now, if I want to, I can add a new question. If I go for choice again, I can type in solve for x, enter an equation, and I can do make up my own questions here. So I'm going to do again x plus 9 equals 27. Okay. So as I go through here, the maths tool does its magic for me, and it brings through different options. And when I click off it, it allows me to bring through. I can either use maths tool, but again, it suggests the results, and I can add all the options here. So it gives me the correct answer, and marks it for me. All I need to do now is just put in the points for each one. So click on points 1 for that one, and on this one here, I'm going to click on points 1 as well, and that will just mark it for me. If I want to, I can use the maths tool, and I can create more quiz questions as I go through, and I can add multiple answers. I can add even more answers if I want to. You can go up to 50 answers per option, so I wouldn't worry about that. You've always got plenty to choose from. So let's preview it, and we're going to wrap up there. So let's preview the quiz. You can see here what is today's date, and I can click on that. It just drops down and shows me the date. So I'm going to click the 1st of March. Which artist is currently working? I'm going to say Munch, even though that's wrong. Which artists lived at the same time? It's going to be Munch and Van Gogh. I'm going to get that one right, but you can see there it's mixed up a little bit. I can click multiple answers. Name the first made famous by Van Gogh. I think that's one of the correct answers. Typing. You can see here saying how many points it's worth. And each time I hover over a question, I can do the immersive reader, and it supports me with reading out loud or showing it in big text. Rank the artists in order from date of birth to most recent. So I can move them down or up. So Banksy is the most recent. Da Vinci is the earliest, and I'll leave the 2 in the middle as they are. What do I think of each artist? I think they're all awesome. So I'm clicking on that box there. Click on next to get my new section, and now I've got maths. Next in the new section, just a page x plus 3 equals 7, so x is 4. And this one here, I'll get it wrong, and then submit. When I've submitted it, I can click on View Results to see straight away what I've done. I can see what my score is, 8 out of 14. I can see the data I got right. I got the artist wrong. I got told I'm sorry, that's not correct. I can give better feedback than that as a teacher. I got that correct, so I don't get any further marks or comments. Sunflowers is correct. I got 1 out of 1 point. I can see straight away where I got the scores. That was correct, and that's all awesome. In maths, I got 1 right, and the wrong answers are highlighted for me with a big red cross, and it shows me the correct answer. In the feedback, I could show the correct way of working it out if I want to. So that there is how students see it. If I clicked on mobile, they would see it that way around, so you can preview what it looks like on a mobile phone as well. There we go, computer and mobile, and going back. Now, in Microsoft, I can click on responses because I've submitted the form. I can see the data that works out, and I can see each of the data types, each of the data sets to see where my answers are in pie charts or bar charts, or whatever data visualization is best for the question type. So as that comes through, I can see as a class how it goes, and if I want to, I can open an Excel, but at a glance, I can see the average score, and I can review the answers on a person-by-person basis by clicking on these buttons here. But that there is 21 minutes, and we're going to stop as we go. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, or we can get in touch at schoolsict.co.uk. We'll be sharing the video of this session after the event. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.